everyone, having a hopefully good time. Okay. So I've learned that that multitasking is quite the endeavor. This is good. This is good. People are coming in. Still have some time to kill. Perfect. Okay, this is good. So for everyone joining in, the Slido is present. Feel free to ask any questions throughout the meeting, pardon me, throughout the workshop, and I will answer them as best as possible. So this workshop for me is running right between meetings. Right before this, I had one for work. Right after, I have another one for work. After that, I have another one for grad school. So it's going to be a fun and exciting time. Very busy, very hectic. Again, I'll wait until 11:05 to start. Feel free to ask any questions on Slido as you feel. Okay. Also, I'd like to thank my team for letting people in and recording this. This workshop, once it is fully recorded and done, we will post it in the general channel, as per usual, and I will work on uploading it to YouTube as well. So it'll be readily available. Now, in terms of what I want for this workshop is I want to be more of a Q&A for at least the better part of it. For the initial bit, I will be going over Overleaf, I'll be going over LaTeX, I'll be going over the template. However, those are not super involved, so I won't spend a needless amount of time on it. I think the most important thing here is for people to ask questions and for me to answer them. Now, I will answer all these questions, to the best of my ability within the time frame that we have. You can also ask any sort of admin related questions because it's me, your boy, the event runner, the event organizer, and I will do my best to answer that. Honestly, I'll start answering some questions now until I stop hearing the people coming in. So the first one, thank you, appreciate that. It's very, very appreciated. Figured I should look nice because I looked like garbage this morning. Woke up, lots of messages, good times. Okay, is it mandatory to keep the format of the template that was provided for us? Is it okay to adjust? We would prefer that you do keep the format of the template that was provided, unless there is a major issue. For example, your graph doesn't fit, in which case you can adjust the margins. Fonts, keep the same. General order, keep the same. The admirer of the Murray, here's our boy. Thank you to the admirer and the admirer of the admirer. Is more than one person allowed to work on the document like a Google Doc? Yes, that is correct. Can we copy and paste on the template? Then if you're right, yep, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so we have about 83 people in the workshop total right now. I'm gonna give it one more minute because I still keep hearing beep 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 as people are being let in. So this is good progress. Okay. As well, just as a general comment, I've been I've been peeking into all of the active Slack channels for the teams, and things are progressing pretty well. I'm really impressed with some of the projects that you have been working on already, and it's exciting to see. I can't wait to see the wealth of manuscripts that come into us that are submitted, as well as the projects and where they will go beyond this competition. It's quite exciting for me. Okay, it's 11:04. I will begin the workshop formally now. So get excited, everyone. Okay. So first things first, when you go to overleaf.com, it'll prompt you for a login. You should register an email. Not very difficult. You can you can log in with any other accounts that you may have. IEEE, great if you're in ComSci. Google, everyone has it. Same, and Twitter is very common as well. I have several accounts set up on this machine. The one that I will be using for this is my work email, OneCube. Yes, also, just as a reminder, please keep your microphones muted during this time. Yes, so now once you've logged in, you will be welcomed by your little space over here. Now, I have a bunch of things because I use Overleaf a lot for work, writing up papers, manuscripts, white papers, things like that. But what we are interested in is finding the template that I have provided with you all. So what you can do is you can click on New Project, View All down from the templates, and the template that we will be using, I'll search it up, UNBDC, and it's the very first one that pops up, UNBDC. If I click it, it'll give me some information about it, who the author is. It's me. I've adapted it from previous ones, but please use this template. You can click Open as Template, and it'll save this as a project for you within the directory that you first saw when you logged in. And I'll show you that actually, I'll show you that afterwards. Okay, good. So in the leftmost pane over here, you will see the working directory. Here is a folder in which you can place your figures, right? As for file formats, LaTeX accepts any, quite a varied number of them. It accepts PDFs, PNGs, JPEGs, EPS, and a whole host of other things. And feel free to play around with that and look up the documentation for more details on this. The next thing that we have here is what is called a BibTeX or a bibliography file. So here it might look a little scary, a little complicated, but it really isn't. Basically, what you have is you have an article. So we tell it this is going to be an article. This first keyword here is what is going to be typed or called whenever you reference it within your document. Everything else is literally just defining information, right? So abstract is equal to this thing, right? Copy paste that there. You have dates added, accessed, and modified. Fill them in here. The DOI, fill it in here, etc., etc., etc. And maybe you don't know all these off the top of your head. Well, let's do something real quick. Let's find an article right now. So if I go in Google Scholar and maybe I wanna find an article. Let's see. Degree freedom. So just we can get any sort of article here, right? Let's use this one. Let's use this one right here. If I click Cite, it'll give me all these options, which I'm sure most of you used before. But the one that we're interested in is here, BibTeX. Click it, and it'll bring you to this page. And look at that, it automatically formats it for you. And I can copy and paste that here. So I'm copying this and put it back into my BibTeX. Ta-da. So this is here. It is saved automatically. Everything will be saved automatically. And yes, that is it for the BibTeX. So again, it's very easy to find things, very easy to find the format. And once you have that, you can simply copy and paste it back into this file right here. Right, now we can get into the main template itself, right? So yes, I'm sharing the right one. This is good news. In the center pane, this is where you will have the what you might colloquially call as code, right? This is where you'll be writing everything. And once again, if you don't have any background in this, it might seem super scary, but really it is not. So here, this first thing, it defines the document class, right? Font size, the format, 2 columns. You can also have 1 column, and the size of the paper, right? So letter paper, you can do A4 and A7, whatever legal, whatever you want. But for the purposes of this competition, don't touch the document class, just for consistency. Next, we have packages, right? So this one defines the language, encoding, stuff like that. The font, this one over here, it sets up the margins, right? So geometry just tells you the geometry of the page, basically, right? Please don't change this unless you run into issues with fitting your graph into the document. But we can talk about that in a second as well. The packages here, very useful. MS Math is for any sort of equations that you might want to add. I just heard a little pling. Sorry, I'm just going to answer one question. Hi, Anish, is it possible to share with more than one collaborator? I am limited to a single other collaborator with my basic Gmail account. So I believe it is, if you click share here, you're able to add several people, right? You can turn on link sharing, and anyone with the link can edit. So you can see that right there. Anyone with this link can view it, right? And so on and so forth. So it's very easy to work together on this, similar to Google Docs. Okay. So this one will correct for any sort of hyperlinking, right? NatBib, keep this. This will be the bibliography format. Okay. This is the title section. The title, this is the big old heading up top over here, STEM Fellowship Big Data Challenge 2020. Don't change that. Project title is what you want to change, right? So maybe my project is COVID-19 and at risk mental health groups, right? So that's my title. And then if I want to compile that and I want to see it here, I just hit recompile. And ta-da, it's right there, all pretty. So, my name is author 1. I have several other authors, author 2, 3, and 4. They can't be here right now, but that's totally fine. And you'll notice that beside it, in the little square brackets, we have 1 and 2. And those correspond to the affiliations, where I define the affiliations here. Affiliation 1 is 1 university. Affiliation 2 is B university. And you'll notice that in this in the PDF itself, author 1, author 2, author 3 all have 1 above their names, and their affiliation is 1 university. Author 4 is B university. As well, if you want, you can add links to this, right? So we can do href, right, cross-referencing, and we can do, let's say Anish Verma STEM Fellowship.org, right? So that's my email. That is what will appear. And here's the link. So let's see if that compiles. And if it runs into any errors, we can fix that. Oh, it did not. See, has an email there. It will probably be more convenient for you to place it down here, but this is just for the purposes of showing you that it can be done. All right, the next section, so don't change this. Make title just tells it to make the title page and have all the stuff up at the top. The data is automatic, so don't worry about that. The abstract here, it will need to be placed between the sort of begin abstract and end abstract. This begin statement tells that this following section until end abstract will be the abstract, and everything within it will go right here. I should put a period here and a space here. Okay, next section we have are the keywords. We have pick 3 to 5 good keywords. Pick 3 to 5 good keywords. And since we're talking about COVID-19, let's have COVID-19. Let's have corona. Oops, not cap lock. Coronavirus. Talk about mental health, so mental illness. And let's add another one, mental health. And one more, just for the sake of practice. COVID-19 at risk groups. So if I compile that, I get, I will get my PDF as well as my keywords here. So again, very simple. Really, all you need to do is fill in things and you're good to go. Make sure that you're not accidentally deleting the begin and end statements. Otherwise, it will run into a whole host of issues. But again, with years of practice, we run into very few of those issues. And this template is fairly simple to use, so it should be no issues at all. Introduction section here, again, very standard as a classic academic paper. Introduce the background and the problem that you're going to be focusing on, as well as a couple sort of comments on what was done and will be done in the work below. Materials and methods. This is where you would talk about the methodology used for data analysis, the data that you access, et cetera. Results, easy peasy, super easy. That's where you show your stuff, show all of your hard work, show your successes, and things will be good to go. The URL command works similar to href, right? If I take a look here, where is it? Down here. So again, the URL command types it verbatim, like this. And you'll notice that it is a different font than this. If you want to keep it as the same font, then you can do href, and then it's something here. Good old copy paste is our best friend here, and then we can recompile that. Now we're going to run into errors, and I will fix them. So you'll notice that it doesn't look pretty. It looks like crap, honestly. So if we click the little logs and outputs here, we get this. Check it, and it'll tell you that something went wacky here, and it's telling you that our $signs don't match around mathematical expressions. And effectively, it comes about in the link itself, right? So it's almost certainly going to be this underscore here. And yes, so what we can do is we can fix that. Anytime you have a math-related character, right, you'll need to you'll need to sort of format them accordingly. So this should work. Let's see. And if not, I'll keep at it until it works out. Darn, didn't work out. Okay, so let's see. That should be fine. This one is good to go. Commas, that should be fine too. I figured it out. Okay, so the issue is that I mixed up the order. So the readable, the thing that will appear on the page, should be the first thing. The second thing should be, sorry, the first thing should be the link. The second thing should be the readable. So this should fix it. Darn, it did not fix it. What went wrong here? Could it be the colon? No. Let me use a simpler link just for the sake of it, and I'll test it out. So link, and then google.com. Perfect. Okay. Yes. So now things worked out. So the first one here, this is going to be the link itself. That's what my previous issue was, and I apologize for that. The second one is going to be the thing that is read over here. So I'll recompile that, and you'll notice that it reads link, which is the second argument. And if I want, and just to compare again, we can also use the URL command /URL, and all I need to do is input the link there, and I don't have to worry about any fancy formatting. And it will read it as google.com. Ta-da! But you'll notice that it is in a different font. And again, this is up to you to play around with. Either is fine. I prefer the href command because it keeps things consistent, but is what it is. The next one, so verbatim, this here, it basically is going to show things looking like in this funky font here. And things will show up exactly as you type them here. This is useful for when you want to write out code, for example, and this is a very common practice. The next thing that we should talk about are the figures. So you'll notice that a figure is placed right up here. What LaTeX does is it automatically places the figure to what it thinks is the best spot for it. Okay, yes. And if you want to force it to be in a specific spot, like where you place it relative to the paragraphs, you can type H and then exclamation mark. This just tells it to place it right here. That's how I remember it. Anyways, the next command here is to center your work, right? To make sure that it's centered and that's not left aligned or right aligned. The important thing here is this line here. Include graphics. That tells you to include the graphic that you want. Keeping the width as 0.4 text width will keep it at this relative size. If you want, we can try changing this to line width, and we'll see what that does. In fact, I think it will make things look nicer. So hopefully it does. Yes, it does. See, that's perfect. Line width, I'd say, is the preferred command over text width, but text width effectively just keeps it relative to the total length of the document. And this could be useful for when you have like a funky looking figure, but line width is preferred. Width is equal to 1 of the line width. Oh, this is 1 of the line width. Next is where the image actually is. So if you upload an image and place it here, test.png, I type in figures, the folder that it's in, / and then the name of the file, and it appears right here. Okay. The caption here, self-explanatory. So caption is, notice how LaTeX automatically numbers this figure, and lo and behold, figure 1. Notice how LaTeX automatically numbers this figure. Right. The final 2 sections are the discussion and the conclusion. So again, this is not too difficult, right? The discussion, sort of elaborate on your results, talk further about it. Conclusion is more of a summary, as well as what future works you might have, right? Like you talk about your solution and how it solves the problem. So you'll notice here that in defining this section, there is a little asterisk right here. And you'll notice that on the PDF, all the other sections are numbered except for conclusions and acknowledgements and references. So what's the difference? Well, for discussion, all the numbered sections, there is no asterisk. So to keep the numbers, we'll get rid of that. And if I recompile this, I get a number beside conclusions. And I would prefer it if you kept the number beside conclusions. Acknowledgements generally don't have a number beside it, so feel free to keep the asterisk right there. Finally, when you want to place your bibliography in here, right, the references section, you type in /bibliography, and then the name of the bibliography file, bibliography.bib. The .bib is optional because it is already looking for a bib file, but you can place it in there, won't make a difference. And you'll notice that things are nicely formatted. Things are nicely formatted right here. Oopsie daisy. My references. Yeah, that is your super crash course in LaTeX. Now, I'm sure there is a whole heck of questions, so I will get to answering those right away. First things first. Okay, first things first. Let me go through all of this. I'll share. Oh, this is a mistake. That's fine. So my friend is trying to join, but is unable. I have let them in. Okay, so Elvira has to handle this. This is fine. Posting here. Could you show how to make the in-text citation? Oh, that's a fantastic question, which I absolutely should have showed before. So thank you for that. So in-text citation. Let me go back to this. Okay, perfect. So you'll notice right here, I have cite and then yes, /cite reference name. This is in the very introductory section, right there, right here. So I'll look at the PDF just to show that it looks pretty, right? So another thing before the introduction here, I'm going to attach a citation to the sentence, and then it's bracketed and then 1. If you look at this document, or if you look at the code right here, it says another thing before the introduction, blah, 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 /cite reference name. So this is how you perform an in-text citation, and it will be formatted as such. It will be numbered with the square brackets around it. And when you click it, it calls directly to the reference that we have here. Now, if you'll recall, if we go back to the bibliography, reference name is right here, and that is what was called. If I want to call this one, I would copy and paste this back into here. Oops, didn't copy paste that properly. Okay, should be good to go. So we might need to recompile this, right? The bibliography a couple times until it works out. But it looks like things worked out well. Notice how the references changed to now the single particle that collected degrees of freedom in carbon 60. And the citation is still here. So that is how you perform an in-text citation. Okay, can multiple people work on it at the same time on Google Docs? Yes, that is correct. Now I am going to stop answering questions in the Google Hangouts, the Google Meet, and instead go to the Slido for this tab instead. So if you have any questions, please ask them here, and I will go over everything in absolute detail. What do I do if my mentor has not responded to my messages on Slack? You can contact either, you can contact me, Elvira, or Preeti, and we will contact the mentor. If the mentor does not respond for whatever reason, then we will do our best to pair you up with another mentor. This was an S-tier workshop, probably because it was so short and really simple. Thank you very much. So again, answering any questions here. Thank you. How many graphs are too many? So this is more of a writing question, and I think that's quite frankly, it's a very good question. So in general, people are very visual. You know, the more graphs, the better. But I would say, if you plan to use a graph, if you plan to have it in your work, please reference it. Please reference it, right? And when I say reference it, I mean reference it in your text. So if you're not going to talk about it, don't put it in the document. Finally, Jubak and Juhat. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I also noticed that the numeric citation is used on the template. What numeric citation style will be required? So again, this is all taken care of in the template. You don't have to worry about order or anything like that. How it works is when you do an in-text citation using the /cite command and then the name of the reference that you're calling, that will be number 1. So the order that you will that we want the references in is the order in which they appear in the text. Okay, done. And the only thing there's a date that I can't seem to change, May 26th. Yes, that is correct. That is today's date. So the date will be automatically, oops, the date will be automatically done for you. So you don't need to worry about that at all. As long as you compile it, it will be automatically changed. If you want, you can modify the style, and if you want, you can modify the style file and then fix that. But don't touch it. This is what I'm saying. It's automatic. We've worked hard, so you don't need to worry about any of that. Okay, when you do in-text citations, how do you control which citation that it is? In your code, you can only have the word reference. What if I want for reference? Oh yeah, that's a great question. I'll show you that right now. So let's say that I want to reference multiple ones in, let me share the tab. Let's say that I want to reference multiple things in the same parenthesis, same citation. So if I put a comma right there, right beside it, you'll notice that it gives me things to select from. And what I can do is I can click it, and it is good to go. And just to prove it to you, let me recompile. Sorry, something went wrong in the project. Can I recompile? Please try again in a few moments. Server errors, great. This is only the best with Overleaf. However, this is not an issue with the template itself or the code, just an Overleaf thing. So please work. It's compiling. This is good. This is good. Yeah, we did it. I'm proud of us. Okay, sick. So you'll notice here that we now have multiple ones. Ta-da! And then down here in our references, we have both of our citations. And you can do this, with as many as you want. Okay, so that share this tab instead. This answers your question. Thank you very much for that. That's fantastic. Matthew Kai, great lecture. Thank you. I appreciate it. How do I show this template so that my version is the same as my group members? Great question. I will show that once again. So share this tab instead. Share. Anyone with this link can edit this project. Click that, and that's that is the version that you want, so that everyone's looking at the same thing. Okay. Okay, would you like the citation in order of reference? Would it be, oh, I'm not sharing the correct tab. There we go. Would it be appropriate to link? This is a good question. I'm going to say no. We would prefer emails. However, so for the purposes of writing these project reports, right? I think it's fine to use your LinkedIn profiles. However, let's say that you make it all the way to the finals and you win your $1,500 or plus, or less, and your manuscript gets ready to be published into the STEM Fellowship Journal. In that case, no, you absolutely need to put your email, and that is the format that I am sure that they require. However, this will be done at a later stage, and you don't need to really worry about that right now. So for now, tentatively, you can put your LinkedIn file. In reality, we would prefer you to use your emails. Is there a comment code? A very good question, and let me show you that once again. So you'll notice that at the top here, you have these double percents. Only need one for a comment. Having two, that's just like a style sort of thing. But the comment code, like let's say I don't want. Let's say I'm not sure whether or not there will be an author here. So if I type percent, this thing here, and then I hit, just to show you what it looks like before, author 1, 2, 3, 4, and I hit compile, this code is commented out. And now it doesn't appear in here. If I get rid of the comment, the percent, then it gets put back. Okay. So now let me go back to the questions. Done that. I noticed that there is one in the channel. For author name, we put last name first and then first name. No, put your first name, then your last name. Oh, crap. So I got rid of a question by accident, but it asked whether or not a rubric will be posted. Generally, in hackathons, rubrics are not posted for grading. Those are kept on a down low. So we will not be posting it just for the sake of being consistent. As well, this is more of a pedagogical competition, right? So we want you to learn more than anything else and not really worry about the score. If you want to sort of gauge what we're looking for, really, you can look at the past manuscripts for length, for depth of projects. But really, we want you to go as far as you can and submit, whatever you come up with, no matter how robust and amazing your project is, or how small and that you feel your project might be. If we can't find data from a data set, can we use data from an article? I mean, if you reference it, that's fine. If you reference it, that is acceptable. But again, check the quality of your references, and quite generally, you can find the data for this right away. What are the penalties for late submission? So in general, we don't want to allow any late submissions. And for the only case that you will have a late submission is if you have like a very good reason, like a very, very good reason. Once again, this is a competition. As for the penalties, you will be deducted a certain amount of points, and we will only allow up to 24 hours late submission. And again, this has to be under absolutely, or it has to have a justifiable reason. Oh, as well, you need to email us to let us know. How do you add a footnote at the end of your document? A footnote, that's a very good question. So there is a command for that. I get back to the correct tab. So let's say I want to add a footnote. Let's do it here. Okay, in the introduction. Okay, yes. So I'll do /footnote, and I'll be like, this is a footnote. Pardon my my vernacular. I did not mean for that to be so casual. We're partially down for maintenance. Great. Well, Wednesday, May 27th, that's tomorrow. So try to stay away from this platform for half an hour during this time. But for now, it should be good. So again, /footnote. This is a footnote. Compile. And look at that. There's our footnote right there. So there are some issues known with footnotes in that they can be kind of finicky with LaTeX sometimes, in the sense that sometimes it will cut off and start on the next page. You can fix that by entering a command. You can Google it. If you Google broken footnote LaTeX, you'll find it immediately. Okay, back to the questions. Share this tab instead. Okay, so done. Do the images have to be a PNG? No, they do not. They can be any number of formats, or they can be PNG, JPEG, PDF, EPS, and so on and so forth. You can look them up. You can look at the image formats and have fun with that. Do we have to put our emails, or is it an optional thing? Well, so again, if your project manuscript goes all the way to publication, then you will have to have your contact emails. For now, I would prefer that you do have contact information on there, just for the sake of having a manuscript, but you do not need to if you feel uncomfortable. What will be the rule on multiple first authors? Do we need a footnote? So again, for the project submissions, you don't need to worry about that. This is really an issue when it comes to the publication stage, when it gets to the STEM Fellowship Journal, if it does. And quite commonly with academic journals, myself having founded or myself having run one at one point, this is a fairly easy thing to do. Generally, it will be noted as a footnote, but at this stage, you do not need to worry about that. How can I be sure the email that I've linked to the author name is working? Nothing's happening while clicking. Yeah, so this is a good question. So once you download the PDF, actually, let me show you. Let me show you if I can figure out how to share my whole screen. But basically, once you download the PDF, you will see that they are indeed clickable. So give me 1 second. Okay, stop. Let me see if I can present your entire screen. Okay, amazing. Damn. All right, so I should not have used my. Oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. I'll post this back up on the. I'll post the questions back up. But for now, while I figure this out. Okay, perfect. Yes. So again, you can verify it. Like, download the PDF, click it open. Okay, perfect. Do I have any links here? Yes, I do. Okay. If you look at the screen, you'll notice that PDF's here. I opened it, and wow, it looks very clickable. Let's see if I click it and anything happens. Click. Your file is not. Oh, I deleted. Oops, my bad. Let me try doing this again. Hopefully with this length. But in general, I've lost it. Here we go. Link. Your file was not found. That's interesting. But yes, this does work. And I will prove it to you, because this is bothering me. But I will indeed prove it to you before I move on, because that's how we are over here. Okay, download, save. Yes, so apologies for this pause, but I really want to show that it does indeed work. Okay, so I made this resume here using LaTeX. Pretty. There's my face. Let's click a link and see if it works. Oh, look at that! It's working. This is wild. The link does indeed work. Let's not share my convocation speech. Unless you want to check it out. Share this tab instead. So yes, download the PDF and click the link to verify that it works, but it'll almost surely work. Okay. Will all abstracts be published? All abstracts will be published, but not all manuscripts will be published. Do we put name in alphabetical order? You can put the name in any order you want, where you will note the first author credit ship. Not now, but if you make it to the publication stage. For the affiliations of authors, we have to put the subscript if all authors are from the same university. That's a good question. I'm gonna say yes tentatively. Right now, that's fine. Again, this is not what your final manuscript will look like if it gets to publication stage, but yes, for the sake of this question, yes. Can you show us how to refer to a figure table in the main body? Thanks. This is a very good question, so thank you for that. I'll share this tab. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. So what you can do is, all right, it doesn't matter. So let me look at the figure first. Oh, computer's crashing. Oh no, this is great. Okay. So this is not good. The tab froze. I'm gonna stop. I am going to refresh this. And hopefully it continues to work. If not, I will come back to this question later. Well, so one of the issues with working with Overleaf from time to time is if their servers are loaded, it could be a little finicky, But I will orate it until Overleaf decides to work. So effectively, if you want to reference or if you want to reference a figure in text in the body of your work, what you will need to do is type in the command /ref, and then you have your curly parentheses, and then you will type in your reference. So you'll notice that on the template that there will be, on the figure, for example, it'll have /label, curly brackets, curly braces, whatever you want to call them, and then it will be typed fig, F-I-G, colon, and then the name of the thing that you want to reference. So once you have that in your figure, you can go in text, type in /ref, curly braces, and have fig, colon, and then the reference name. That is how you will refer to a figure in the body of the work. So please overleaf work. Oh, this is a good sign. It's coming back online. Okay, good. Now to reiterate, what you can do is, let's go to the figure. I will type in /label, and then fig, and then I'll just say apple. This is figure apple. Be descriptive, you know. But yes. Anyways, so now I will do I'll do it beside the paper. /ref fig apple. Figs are also a fantastic fruit. Yes. And you'll notice that figure 1 is here. And if I go to the discussion section, it is clickable there. So usually you want to have some brackets around these things. So what you can do is you can say, here's the meat of the paper, parentheses, and then figure, and then the figure number will be here. So if I compile that, take a look, and we have figure 1. If I click it, you're good to go. Actually, since I'm here, I've noticed that in the body of the text, we can do the exact same thing. Ref fig apple. And the exact same thing is up here. Perfect. All right, now I can go back to the questions. I'm going to start speeding through these because I have a meeting quite soon, 14 minutes. Done. Can you explain the difference between URL and href? URL, we'll type the URL verbatim. Href, you can change what the link text will look like. So instead of having www.google.com, you can have it appear as a link. You can have it appear as any string that you want. Well, participants can copy the journal. I believe it is not a print copy journal, and there are very few print copy journals still available nowadays. With all the abstracts in winning manuscripts. So it is an open access journal, which means that it is free to access online at any time. And yes, that is correct. We will link participants' copy of this, I feel. Okay. So cool headphones, thank you. Appreciate them. Appreciate that. Can you show us exactly where we're supposed to put our email info? Yeah, so beside the affiliation, you can stick it right there. Okay, if all winners get published, why would you see it when we looked at the journal alliance? No. So again, only all winners manuscripts get published, and that's very easily accessible. Like, it is absolutely there. All participants' abstracts get published. All winners' manuscripts will be published, but again, they have to go through the peer review process, right? So if you look through them, if you look through the submissions, if you look through what is published, you will see that these are peer-reviewed articles, and the articles do have to go through a set of peer review. However, the process will be slightly expedited because you have won the competition. Okay. Can multiple people edit simultaneously, or will it cancel? I believe so. I haven't personally used the editing feature with multiple people on it at once, but I think I believe that you can edit it simultaneously. If not, verify that. Very quick to verify. Can we have an appendix? Yep, absolutely. If you want it, go for it. Love you. Thank you. What is href for? Href is for when you want to have a link in your document, but you don't necessarily want to have the URL be the text itself. Do we have to use href in a manuscript? No, you don't have to. What if we have data PDF but without LaTeX? That's fine. I understand what you're saying. That's if you want to submit the data that you used as a PDF, the data itself, not the graphs or anything, that's fine. Manuscript should be using LaTeX. No, I am not. Can you do some demos putting on the graphs in different file formats? Sure. Let me see if I have anything on my desktop. I tend to use PNG because it's a good format. What do I have? Okay, I have something that I can place. So let me go to the template, share this tab instead. So I'll go to figures, I'll upload a file, and then I'll select from my computer. On my desktop, I have a bunch of things, right? Let's use JPEG. Let's use this image here. So it's called slack.jpg. Let me change this. So instead of figures, test PNG, I will do slack.jpg. Compile. Ta-da, and I'm right there. Easy peasy. Okay. Next, share this tab instead. How do you say data? If you don't, that doesn't provide later. Oh, again, you can manually fill in those. You can manually fill in those forms, right? So abstract equals parentheses, type in the abstract, title equals parentheses, fill that in, and so on and so forth. And you can refer to other ones like for reference. Right criteria, where do most of the points go? So the points are weighted heavily on research methodology, the visual appearance of the graphs, whether the data is presented well, and as well whether or not the logic of the work is clear. Those are the main points. As well, we are weighting decently for the manuscripts at least, not for the final presentations. The manuscripts, we are weighting whether or not the solution is well, the problem and solution are well posed. Where should we add all our contact email on a manuscript? Again, just under affiliations is fine. So again, this is more of an aesthetic issue. It is not a problem for when you will for when it gets to the actual publication stage. At that point, you will just provide it to people, to the journal. I'd say having it as a footnote is not a bad idea. If you place a PDF, how do you specify the page for the figure? So it'll automatically place it, and that's perfectly fine. But if you really want to specify where it is, what you can do is share this tab. So look where it is. Look where it is in the code relative to the paragraphs. And if you want to place it, you would type like here, no matter what, right before discussion, you would force it like this. So you do square brackets, H, exclamation mark. It'll tell you to put it right here. Yes. So now let's go back to the questions. Share this tab instead. Can you do some notes? Already done it. Okay, that was good. That's good. There's 56 people left. You're very welcome. I'm here to help. If you have any further questions about LaTeX, you can. I'd prefer that you email me rather than messaging me over Slack. Actually, no, you message me over Slack. That's fine too. And I'll respond to you as soon as I can with any LaTeX related questions. Okay, I'll let the meeting run for another 5 to 7 minutes. The workshop is supposed to end. But yes, thank you very much for attending. I appreciate it, and I hope this was of help to you all. Okay. Down to 37 people, 6, and the numbers are dwindling. This is, oh, spooky. Thank you, Anish. You're very welcome, Joseph. Okay. "24 people left. Can you please show how to?" Oops. Okay. Can you please? I'll get to all these in a second. So let's say I want to have, share this tab instead. Let's say I want to have my email as a footnote. It's easy to do. /footnote and email /href. So I'm using href to refer to my email, and then I will do anish.verma@stemfellowship.org. I should have chosen a shorter email address. Ta-da. And let's see if that works. I'll compile it. You'll notice that it is here as a footnote, right there. And done. Can you carry a child? I don't know you, so I'm gonna say no tentatively. Okay. Yes. So I hope that helped. Thank you all, very much for coming. Appreciate it. So I noticed I got a bunch of Slack messages as I was doing the presentation, but I wasn't able to attend to any of them because I was doing the presentation. Okay. Looks like we don't have any more questions. Okay. Thank you all very, very, very much for attending. I will end this workshop here. If you have any further questions, please let me know. Yes, that's all. Okay. Bye, everyone.